I took a look at myself and went, well, you've let the Pro Tour take control of the old weight management. And I'm not saying I'm skinny king or anything at the moment, but some of the stuff I have shown over the years has been brilliant, absolutely class. That, I think, is what ruined myself.
Hello, welcome along to the latest edition of the Tungsten Talk here at the MODUS Super Series, where we have a look back at the lives and careers of some of the best darts players in the world. Today we're going to have a look back at the career of Super Ted Evetts, the former World Youth Champion, the winner of 14 Development Tour titles in what was a illustrious career. Of course, there was some highlights and flashpoints, including that game, of course, against Fallon Sherrock at the World Championship. But now, Ted is entering his second year without a tour card. He's now looking to push on, take that next step in his career, but also looking to enjoy the finer things in life. We'll look back along the archives here on the Tungsten Talk.
But no, I've been playing quite well recently. I felt unlucky at parts of Q School, parts of Challenge Tour, stuff like that. When it felt comfortable, and it was comfortable, it was naughty. It was after 12s and 14s, 13s, 15s. And it's where I expect myself to be. It doesn't always happen, I understand that. But they're creeping back into my game, and yeah, it just needs to happen a bit more often.
Where are you at with competitive stuff week in, week out? So what kind of things are you doing?
Play a Monday night with the lads, so I get to see them a bit. Other than that, I'm not touching any vaults. I'm not really going to any local comps, and it's probably doing me disjustice by doing that. But at the same time, I had 8 years on the tour where it was missing seeing nieces, nephews, all that, and like the first birthdays. So I don't want to say I've took a step back, because I haven't. I'm still going to the challenge. I'm still going for what I want. And don't get me wrong, I'd love to be back on the tour and where I feel like I belong. But at the same time, I'm trying to make the most of going back to playing a bit of Sunday League football, going back to playing a bit more golf, stuff like that, just to enjoy life a bit more again, maybe.
Is the perspective of darts then a little bit different now? I'm not saying it's not a priority for you anymore, but perhaps life has just maybe just taken a bit more of a priority, and you're just trying to manage your schedule a bit better.
I think so, yeah, because I got to a point during like my stint on the Pro Tour where I was very much like, I don't really want to go. I want to be there once I'm there, but it was the thought of back up to Wigan, back to Barnsley, wherever it may have been. And it was just like, it felt like a chore more than it did actually enjoying it. Whereas when I started, I was loving life being there. And like I say, once I am there, absolutely adore it. But I think it's just, yeah, try and enjoy a bit outside of it now.
Have you had that moment when you left the Pro Tour where you've gone to a family occasion or a friend's occasion and they've turned around and said, we're not used to you being here?
Yeah. I mean, it's a hard one, because I've got a fairly big family and stuff, and going to see them and stuff like that, now it's just like, there's two 2-year-olds and a 5-year-old, and it's like carnage, but absolutely love it. I can go for a walk with them. I can have that chill out on the weekends, where I never ever had that, because it was always weekends. Don't get me wrong, now it's midweeks, get me back there, but yeah.
I think one of the things that people don't understand is that, and Colin Osborne said this in the purest possible way. He once went to a bunch of tournaments. He came back to his car at the airport, and then he put that suitcase that he had in the car, picked up another one, and then went to the next tournament. So he was living out of not one suitcase, but two. It's a difficult life. And what Ted's going through at the minute is he's taking a step back from pro life and just seeing it from a different perspective, so that he's refreshed as and when he gets back.
Do you think people on the outside take for granted the sacrifices that players have to make, the day in, the day out type stuff?
Yes, they do. Imagine what it's like if you're Luke Littler at the minute, you're 18 years of age. There is a risk that over the next 15 years, he can't live as a normal 21-year-old, 25-year-old. And this is what Ted's talking about. There are people around you doing things, and they will take for granted that you won't be there. So they just think, the fans that is, that this is something you just have to almost accept, because of the riches that are available in the sport. They're not guaranteed riches, I might add. These are difficult situations that you've got to manage.
In terms of perspective, this is the second year now you've been off the tour. I know you've played Pro Tour stuff as a top-up last year, but how much have you actually realised things have changed since coming off tour, just like the minute bits? Because you've pretty much been on the tour since, well, for pretty much all of your adult life, really.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough one because like I keep saying, I want to be there. It's not, I don't want to be, but I'm enjoying it. And like when I am turning up now, it's like, oh, we get to go again. And I think that's probably helping my game out as well by going, it's not slog all the time. And you can actually just go, oh, let's see what happens. Let's enjoy it. And I'm still practicing a bit on the side of it. Not Pro Tour practice, but still keep ticking over and stuff.
Was that the case last Monday when you played Johnny Clayton? Do you feel that there's less pressure on you playing someone of that magnitude in that kind of venue because there's no rankings pressure? You just have a free hit somewhat here.
Yeah, big time. I mean, I only got the phone call at 9:30, something like that. Was already at work. Like, can you? Yeah, go on then. Why not? And like I say, you get there and it's like, hey, Earl, how are you? You're right. And you're chatting to people. And yeah, I mean, get there. It was 40 minutes, I think. So it's 2 and a bit hours up from where I am to Wigan. So it was about 40 minutes practice, go. I literally got a phone call off Keith saying, how far away are you? I was like, half hour. He was like, that's all right then. You first on Johnny Clayton on stream. I was like, lovely.
So where would you say you're at? Me and Paul have been speaking on commentary about you, and it feels like, particularly when you're a player in the second year without a card, that there feels like a little bit of a crossroads period where I suppose when you drop off tour that first year, there's that enthusiasm to doing new things, but there's also that goal at the end. I want to get it back at the first time of asking. When the second attempt doesn't quite go to plan, what then rephrases in your mind, or does nothing change?
To me, I don't think anything really changes. I think for me, it's a when, not if, because some of the stuff I have shown over the years has been brilliant, absolutely class. My key word for myself has always been the consistency, as it has been with a heck of a lot of players. As soon as that consistency starts coming back into my game, yes, it may be right in 2, 3, 4 months' time, start playing more again and slowly build it up rather than jump myself into the deep end. I think last year, outside of here and Challenge Tour, again, there wasn't really anything else to it. We got to mid-December and I was like, go. Christmas, Boxing Day, New Year, whatever. Other than that, I was doing 4, 5, 6, 7 hours Sundays on a board and trying to drive myself insane with it, trying to find that's it, that click, that spark. But at the same time, in the back of my head, it's very much, sometimes when you look for it, it doesn't happen. So I'm kind of, again, like you say, at that crossroads of, right, do you go left and go, relax, enjoy it, if it happens, or when it happens, it will click? Or do you go, right, let's drive yourself insane with it again and find it?
I think a lot of people tend to look at someone in Ted's position as a negative. They say periods on the tour had one of the most illustrious development tour careers that anybody's ever had. But when they take a step back or they're forced to take a step down, for example, most people will see that as a negative. I actually see what Ted's going through as a huge positive. Getting a great slice of life. But what you see with a lot of young players who go to the tour, let's take, I don't know, Dimitri Van den Berg or Luke Humphreys as an example, because there's some people who have done the same kind of stuff that he's done in the development tour game. Because when you're on the Pro Tour, I don't know what Ted thinks about this, but you get conditioned for best of 11 legs all the time. And when you wake up in the morning, you're thinking about best of 11. By taking that step back, what you're doing is you're going into different venues like this, where it's best of 7. You're going to other venues playing different formats, and you're actually becoming stronger player by removing yourself from just being a one-trick pony, which is best of 11.
Are you also feeling as if now this is perhaps the first time in your career where you've been able to play with the pressure off, because you burst through onto the scene, you did excellent work on the development tour. Of course, you played in some high-profile games in your career as well. There's always been a spotlight and I suppose a pressure on you. First of all, what was that like to deal with, and does that feel different now?
I genuinely never really felt the pressure from any of it. I knew I was always a tiny player, but I always felt like Dimmy had a lot more, because obviously he was on the tour a bit earlier. He had that little bit more, the higher rankings. And there's always, I felt, been that someone just a touch above me to not take the pressure off me, but in my head it was always let them have it in a way. I'm one of them, I'll happily go under a radar, and then you see me in the semi-final and you go, oh, hello, I forgot about him. And I don't mind that at all. And it's, at the moment, I probably feel more pressure now because of you've been on the tour for 8 years, you've done like World Youth Championship, Dev tours, all that. But it's, people still expect that now. And I think I'm not going to say a transition period, because it's not a transition. I've not really changed a lot apart from enjoying away from it more. It's more, people still think you're that pro tour, hardened, ready, go. And it's not, you're that next tier down, still very good. When it's going, it's, here he is. And it's a great feeling, but it's not go, go, go like you were saying, like with the Pro Tour. You're not that hardened, ready player. So like you say, when you are turning up as a reserve and rocking up, I had a great little quarter-final run last year, beat, I think, 3 top 10 players. I was like, hello. But it was that relaxation with it. There wasn't the pressure then, because it was, you are filling it in.
When you've been on the tour for a period of time like Ted has, what he's trying to say, and I will 100% back him up, if you have a period of time between your best moment and your next moment, everybody is expecting the best version of yourself all the time. So if you're someone who was, I don't know, averaged 120, say Connor Scott last year, 120 average in a game here, people will expect that all the time then. They always expect the best of you. And you've got to understand that this is a game that can't be perfected. It can only be played. So as long as you play the game, you ride the highs and the lows. You've just got to make sure that your average, and I'm not talking about the average of a game, but the average performance over the course of a career is something you're pleased with.
And you have had to ride those highs and lows. I know the Fallon game is a very high profile one, and I bet you're sick of people like us asking the question, but to respond the way you did then the year after that must show that you've got real perseverance, because that must have been a tricky period to then overcame.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people say that's the game that not ruined you, because it hasn't ruined me. People don't look at that little gap from after that game through to then the end of March, April, when COVID hit. That, I think, is what ruined myself, because, again, there was no darts to play. That little gap between it. I can remember playing a game against Wadey. I was over 100 average, I lost. Day after, I think it was Meikle I played. I had over 100, I think we were both 104 averages. I lost. I was still playing well. I was still, let's go, let's go, let's go. But then as soon as we had that, you can't go, like the world stops, I took a look at myself and went, well, you've let the Pro Tour take control of the old weight management. And I'm not saying I'm a skinny king or anything at the moment, but I looked after myself. I dropped 4 stone before the next lot of Pro Tours. That, I think, is what ruined me, because it wasn't a progressive thing. It was, what can I do to keep myself occupied?
And then I suppose then moving forward, I suppose it's about turning that new leaf. And we were talking about this being potentially for you a new lease of life. And you've mentioned how you're finding that nice, happy medium. Would that be a nice way to describe where you're at right now?
Yeah, big time. And like I say, you have that enjoyment away from it. You come to it, you're still going to enjoy it. When it feels like a chore at some points, and it feels like you have to be there. And I think that's, a lot of people will turn around, oh, Van Gerwen, Littler, Humphreys, you name them, haven't turned up to the Pro Tour. Why not? They've still got to enjoy life. Some of them have got young children, young families. Some of them haven't, but like you say, you've still got to enjoy away from it.
Striking the happy medium is a difficult thing to learn. Ted's been around long enough to know that, let's take some examples of this. So you walk up to Chris Dobie, you walk up to Michael Van Gerwen, you walk up to Ted Evetts. None of them want to talk about darts when the day is over. They want to talk about something else. Chris Dobie wants to talk about football. Michael wants to talk about traveling. Ted wants to talk about red meat and steaks and stuff like that. It's an important thing to do. So when fans are trying to talk to Ted and to other players, you want to strike a chord with them, don't talk about darts. That's the key. Talk about something else. And that's what dart players do. They don't just sit around tables talking about darts 24/7, even though we can watch it 24/7. What we do is we talk about other things to take the pressure away.
So sorry, Ted, we just spent the last 20 minutes talking about darts with you. Mind you, you're an accomplished cook. You're a fairly handy chef. Have you two ever had a cook-off or anything?
No, we just keep talking about it. He can cook better than I can. He's a better confectioner, and he's better at desserts than I am. But we've talked about food for years, haven't we?
Yeah, literally probably as long as I've known you.
So what you're saying is, right, because I can't cook. I cannot cook.
That's something we both know.
Everyone can cook.
Honestly, you haven't seen me cook. So put it this way, if I was going out for dinner one night and, I invited you two around my house or whatever, you'd be on the mains and you'd be on the dessert. Would that be about fair?
Yeah, I think that's
You'd
fair.
be happy with that?
Yeah, more than happy.
So what'd be your main meal dish?
Something Italian. Probably risotto is my favourite thing to cook. Probably a butternut squash risotto.
And then for the dessert?
Chocolates. Paul knows about the chocolates.
Yeah, the chocolates are good. Was it the raspberry and
Raspberry Prosecco.
raspberry prosecco chocolates? Oh my words!
Have you bought any?
I haven't. I haven't made them for a little while, to be fair.
Can't believe that.
I'll tell you what. So next time I'm here, I'll bring some down. You just got to make sure you're here.
I only live a little bit away from you. I'm coming in either way.
Drive for it.
And he just said it live on camera, so it had to happen. Ted, thank you
You're welcome.
so much for your time today. Many congratulations on what you did today,
you.
and appreciate the
Cheers.
fact you've come up for a bit of a
You're
longer
welcome.
chat than what we usually have here
All good.
following a session.